Good Wednesday morning. Morning break. I'm Rob Patz. Good to have you here with us. Another great edition of the show. According to Miles Holiday, and he may actually be watching, I have the easiest job in the world. I only work 3 days a week. Of course, we all know that's not true. And if that's the case, then Miles really only works 1 day a week. If you're watching, Miles, love you, buddy. Anyway, hey, if Miles is watching, Mike McCarthy becomes the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We should have Miles back on, just talk about Steelers, because he is a huge Steelers fan. And maybe I'll see what I can do. I'll get him on, get some reaction to Mike McCarthy becoming the next head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another one of those teams I just don't like. Sorry. Hey, if you have not had this great coffee yet, and we're so proud to be a part of what they do, it's 7 Weeks Coffee. 7 Weeks Coffee. Now, listen, you know I love coffee. We talk about that almost every day on the show. We talk about the fact that I love a good coffee. And I really, to be honest with you, hadn't spent a huge amount of time with small batch coffee. It was not really my thing. I would just get coffee. I liked coffee. Didn't matter. Well, my wife got me into small batch coffee, and then she got me into 7 Weeks Coffee. And let me tell you this, it is a super special coffee. Not only do we love their real mission for what they do and why they do coffee, but we love the taste of the coffee. Now, my wife was really smart because I said, well, listen, I love dark roast. And she goes, no, we're not going to do that, Rob. We're going to get you a variety pack. Now, maybe you're not a dark roast fan. They have a great black breakfast blend. That's easy for me to say on this Wednesday. A great breakfast blend, which has a little hint of caramel, just a little bit. It's very good. And they have several others that are amazing, some medium roast coffees. But I'm a dark roast guy. Love their dark roast coffee. And I have even gotten to the point where I mix the coffees together. So I mix a little morning blend with my dark roast. It gives kind of a different taste. It's kind of my mixology. Thanks to the great folks, 7 Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. And I don't know what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. It is static all over the place today. It's that time of year here in the beautiful part of the Midwest called Ohio, where it is, well, the high this morning when I woke up was 2 degrees. So the My Snackies looking cam definitely has to be someplace like Key West. And it's a lot better looking than it is here in Ohio. Hey, you want to check out My Snackies? If you like freeze-dried candy, and who doesn't, go to my-snackies.com. Load up for the Super Bowl just around the corner. Remember to go my-snackies.com. The My-Snackies Key West look in today. We did earlier in the week flack on the app for showing snow because most of us were under snow. I showed Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I'm sorry for that. I guess that was kind of against the rules. They wanted the warm weather, which I totally get. And Key West, it looks awesome right now. I wish I was down in Key West. A lot of cool things going on, and I think that there's so many interesting things to talk about right now about Christianity and the digital age. So many people talk about AI and all the other things that are going on, and those are all interesting topics. But the most interesting new study that I just saw come out just yesterday, actually, I subscribed to this service, and they sent this out, and it says that people now in 2026, and of course the study was done in 25, are more bold and willing to share their faith online than ever before. That is such a cool thing. It says right now about 68% of Christians who are on social media will share something about their faith over the next month. And I think that is incredible. It is far and away the highest of any of any group or religion. So Christianity doing its thing, getting out there in the world. We used to go into the town square, and I really believe, and I hate to say this because some people don't like when I say what I'm about to say, but the town square now really is social media. And your town is no longer your town, it's your country or it's your world that you live in. And so that's my big thing. And that is kind of our early takeaway. Today, by the way, is National Pop Art Day. Pop art is amazing. Talked about Andy Warhol with my wife last night. And my cousin, who is a pop art person, and she is just fantastic at it. And I grew up around pop art. Walker Institute, if you're from Minnesota or know about it, the Walker is incredible. If you look it up or Google the Walker Art Institute, you're going to see the spoon with the cherry kind of just precariously sitting there. I had my 5th birthday pictures taken in front of it. My mom and dad were very much supportive of the arts. Walker was one of the places that we went all the time. So when I turned 5, that was where my mom had pictures taken of me turning 5 years old. So today's your day. Celebrate some Warhol, some whoever you like. Maybe you've got somebody you say, Rob, I'm not a Warhol guy. I like somebody else. It is your day. Go find some pop art, celebrate with your friends, post it on social media. Today is the day. Hey, listen, we come back. We've got a great guest going to be with us right after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Thanks, great folks. 7 Weeks Coffee. They have been awesome as a part of our team with Abundant TV now for almost a year. My wife is the one. You would think, as the person who loves coffee, I would have been the one that would have found these guys. We found them last February. My wife tracked them down, talked with the owners and the team at 7 Weeks Coffee, and they felt that their mission and our mission really lined up, and they have been a great part of what we've been doing with Abundant TV over the last year. Hey, my guest today, T.S. Wright. This guy is super cool. Had a chance to meet him prior to the show today. T.S., it's great to have you here on the Morning Break with Rob Patz. Hey.
It's great to be here, my friend. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, well, hey, listen, are you a coffee drinker?
You know what? I do like to drink a little coffee, and my wife is definitely a coffee drinker. She drinks it every day. I usually like to have it on weekends. So, but I'm, like you, I like a little bit of a dark roast. I'll take a little bit of medium roast in there as well, but the dark roast is definitely my favorite.
Cool. So I want you to introduce yourself to everybody a little bit about what TS is up to. I know you got a couple podcasts. You have a book coming out in March. A lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. So T.S. Wright, and I'm the author and the voice of the God Center concept, as well as we have another podcast called The Kingdom Crossroads. And that podcast has actually been in existence since 2018. Pastor Robert Thibodeau started that. He turned that over to me this last summer. And after him and I had done like 75 episodes together, and he was ready to retire from that. And he passed that on to me, and we've been running it ever since. The podcast has over 1,750 episodes and has been going on for a long time. And I think at one time it outranked Joe Rogan at one point back during the COVID days. So it's had some popularity, and we're really breathing life back into it. And we're downloaded in around 90 countries right now. So this We love it. It's so much fun to be able to promote and meet such great people like yourself and other people that we have on the podcast. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. But this book series that we have coming out, the God Center Concept Discipleship Series, the first book that's coming out is called Embracing the Truth. And what this is this is a discipleship series to teach you real discipleship. And I think it's important to understand that really my story is that when I was in college, I received Jesus through a campus ministry, and that was in 1992. And then I got heavily involved with what was then Campus Crusade for Christ, now Cru. The on-campus minister trained me for 3 years, and I've been doing that type of ministry ever since, discipleship ministry. In 0304, the Lord gave me a series of visions, and then in 2016, he called me to Wright, and then in 2018, 2019, gave me another series of visions, and then really started putting the pen to the paper after that. And then in 2003, called me to start podcasting. That's when I met Pastor Robert Thibodeau. And now here we are in 2025 and 2026. Through these transition of these 2 years, we've got the book series coming out. We're going to be creating an online discipleship course that goes with these books. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. Our vision is that we want to get at least 100,000 people that are lay people. We're not just looking for people who are, quote, called to full-time ministry, but lay people, so that they learn how to disciple others and get them out of the church pews and get them out, and they are reaching others for Christ and just making disciples.
See, and I think that's so important. It was interesting, and I didn't know that about what you were going to talk about, but we're seeing with the study that we got about people now sharing even on social media. So I think what you're talking about is important, because it's the hands and feet on the ground type stuff where and I think that's so big.
Yes. Here's the thing. We need pastors to help shepherd our flocks, but the pastors cannot be the only people out there sharing their faith. First of all, how in the world would a pastor have time to share their faith with everybody? They don't. And they don't work and operate in all the spaces that all different people do. But if we commit ourselves to being trained how to make disciples, we can teach you how to do that boldly and with confidence. That way, you know what you're doing when you go out there. Even Paul trained before he launched his ministry. So I look at it like this. If Paul had to train, we all have to train. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about Paul here. This guy had an immense amount of religious training. And I can imagine what some of the debates were like when he was training, because there was probably some things he could go toe to toe with everybody and even then some. But he had to understand how to deal with the things of himself, because quite frankly, in one day, I can teach you how to share your faith. That's not hard. But it's all the stuff the enemy will bring against you when you start trying to be effective. That's why you need the training. And we teach you how to deal with that. That's really why you need to go through the 48 lessons of the entire series. There'll be 3 books. That's why you need to go through all of them and then go out and start making disciples. Because a lot of stuff, the enemy's going to attack you when you start being effective for Christ. That's just going to happen. And you need to be prepared for that.
So kind of, and of course, obviously, like you said, you need to do the course to do this, but let's say that it's not you and I, because I can tell we're not shy people, but
No.
there are a lot of people that are kind of, they're not willing to just talk to just people. Give them one piece of advice as to how to share the gospel, and maybe they're not as outgoing. Maybe they're not as comfortable with doing it. Give them one thing that they can take away.
The first thing, and we have a message. Our messaging is press, pray, raise, equip, send, support. That is our messaging for really how we approach this, and kind of that tailored message if everybody just needs that little quick mouthful tidbit. But pray. You need to start praying, because here's what it is. Prayer is the start of all of this. And if you are praying for God to give you boldness, the Spirit will do that. He will make you bold in the spaces where you are comfortable. You know, a lot of times it's connecting with the people that you're used to connecting with. Let's take, for instance, the, electrical engineer that's working at some company. I don't expect him to go talk with athletes, especially if he's not and have an athletic bone in his body, but he needs to be able to, he knows how to talk the lingo with other electrical engineers and the people in his spaces. And that's where he'll feel comfortable. But you got to pray, and you got to pray for a couple of things: the boldness, and for God to put people in your life for you to disciple. He will help you make those connections and get over that shyness. Dr. Bill Bright, who founded Campus Crusade, talks a lot about that in a couple of his books. And he talks about how shy he was. Well, you know what? This guy launched the biggest ministry in the world, off the campus of UCLA. So, I mean, think about what that's turned into. So a shy guy from Oklahoma out in California sharing his faith, if he could do it, we can all do it. And that's pretty much what he was saying.
And I think that's really important. I love what you said there is go into your comfort zone. That doesn't mean you have to, like you said, you don't have to go to some place you don't feel comfortable with, because there are people in every walk of life. If you work in an office, or you work as a construction guy, or whatever it is you're doing, you're going to have and we like to call it, with my company, we call it our sphere of influence.
Amen.
And that is your group of people that you get a chance to have some impact. And I always pray about this. And we my wife and I pray about our sphere of influence that we have, that we shepherd that group of people. And I love that when you say that it's kind of a point where I don't have to go out and attack somebody at the Dunkin' Donuts and go, "Hey, listen, have you heard about Jesus?" Yeah.
Hey, get up there, stand up on the table. We preaching Jesus for you today, baby, because we need him, and we need him right now. I mean, I might be able to do that. That wouldn't bother me. I'm used to teaching and being in front of a lot of people, and speaking and doing those things and being on the podcast. But like you said, not everybody's like us. I don't have any shy bones. I'm a total extrovert. And somebody who's a total introvert, I promise you, God can use you to make disciples. All right. And if females, I'm going to tell you right now, get involved with some really bold females, and they will make you bold just by being around them. Men, get around some very polished people, guys that know what they're doing. All right. That know how to speak the truth. And then get involved in our online courses when we put these things out here, starting sometime this late winter, early spring. Get involved. And if you will do that, get trained and be around those kinds of people, I promise you, it will make you more bold.
And I think that I love what you said, because it's something that God's really been dealing with me about, is mentorship and people that you're around. There are people that say, well, I have a couple of mentors, and I've been very blessed to be a mentor for about 3 or 4 guys now. And I love that. But I love what you said is it gets to be contagious. Like if you're around people that are really like on fire for God, and I know this sounds cliche, but it's really true. It radiates off on you, and you want that.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I go back to my high school days. When I played high school basketball, our Coach Johnson used to tell us this right here: tell me who you hang with, and I'll tell you who you are.
Yep. There's the Zig Ziglar says the 5 people that you most spend time with are the people that you're going to reflect. That's your personality. So I love this. So give everybody, and I want to go back to the podcast because I want people to be able to go download these. So what in both of them, what are you kind of dealing with subject wise right now?
All right. That's awesome that you bring that up. So Kingdom Crossroads is all about promoting other Christian ministries. And I'm just going to say this, Rob, at some point I want to have you on my show. So I
would love to do that.
Absolutely. So we're gonna have you on our show at some point. And we've got some people we call our regulars. I bring them on once a month. We speak, guys like Joshua Spatha, Deborah McNinch. They're great people. They got great ministries. And then we also have we try to keep a good flow of newbies coming in, and it's people across the board. We get pastors, ministers, authors, business people, all kinds of different walks of life promoting a Christ-centered message in what they do. So we, that's what that's about. And the God-centered concept is about messaging. All right. So it's my messaging that the Lord has really put in my heart to do. And that one's a little fresher, meaning that it's not been around as long. And so what I'm focused on there is apostolic, prophetic, and discipleship. That's really the three critical pieces to this podcast. I'm actually going to start another book once this discipleship series is completed, and I'm almost done with the last book. The first two books are completely written, and then it's going to be over the 7 ages of the church. What you also don't know about me is that I've been a history and social studies teacher for a long time in schools. I've been a coach. I was coached for 28 years. So when you brought up the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm a huge Steeler fan, but you're in Ohio. I completely understand why you're not. I'm kind of on the fence with the Mike McCarthy hire, but I'll save that for another day. Back to what we're doing here, because I could talk on that for 6 hours. The truth is that this discipleship piece is really hooked in to the apostolic and prophetic piece, and people need to understand how it all connects. But this 7 ages of the church, we're going to help bring clarity to end time prophecy, not just through somebody having a spine tingling feeling saying, oh, something's going to happen today. No, the Lord told me to approach this with evidence and to bring evidence to the table, and it would bring clarity. I studied this for a year before I ever put anything on paper. That's how much digging and research I did on this. And the Lord led me to do this back in 2022. So we're going to be writing that book. I speak a lot about that on that God-centered concept podcast, but I have other messages as well. And then I give a Sunday sermon on there, and I put that on both the Kingdom Crossroads and the God-centered concept.
See, that's really cool. And they can find all of this, I assume, all of your stuff on the website.
Yes. So you can go to, I have 2 websites, tswrightspeaks.com. If you want to get me as a speaker, I'd love to come and speak. I've done some speaking in front of smaller crowds, but we're obviously trying to expand that part. You can look at all of our podcasts and everything on there. You can also go to godcenteredconcept.com. So either place will get you where you want to go. If you also want to order our book in bulk, then just send me a direct message through the websites, one of the websites, and I'll get you bulk orders at a better rate than what you're going to get them on Amazon.
That's for like a church, or maybe.
Yes.
And here's the interesting thing.
Yeah. 5 or more books, contact me for sure.
And I think this is kind of interesting, and maybe you can shed some light on this. You're seeing a lot of independent Bible study type things where it's not church sanctioned. Don't you see that, or am I just seeing it in my little circle?
No, it's happening everywhere. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. I've been a part of different ones. We, one of the things that my wife and I are doing now is we're going from different church to different church. We kind of have our central church that we go to, but we've got other churches that we're going around and visiting, not only in our area, but eventually we're going to start spreading out beyond the Northwest Arkansas area where I live. And we're just really trying to connect with the body of believers, with pastors, not only show them what we have, but to help them emphasize this entire topic of discipleship, because it is the key. But it can't just be Bible study. It's got to be angled to growing people into becoming disciple makers. That's really
definitely,
really
because
focus.
Otherwise the church dies. If we're not out searching for new people, and especially I think right now with the way the world is so hurting, it grieves me sometimes to just to read some of the stuff, and I think that we have a hope, and for a lot of people they need this so that they can go out and share their hope.
Amen. And there's a huge vacuum out there for truth. There just is. And it's going to get swallowed up by something. And, Jesus, the words of Jesus, it's Matthew chapter 24, verse 35. Heaven and earth will pass away. My words will never pass away. We need to be filling those spaces, those vacuums, those places, regardless of what all of the things that you're doing. You need to be promoting that piece of it, God's word. We need to be promoting discipleship in all these vacuum areas where truth is so needed. I mean, look at some of the things that are just happening around our country with the rioting and all that stuff. Those spaces need people to bring the word of God and to bring disciple makers into those areas. And you will see wholesale change within 12 months. You would see a wholesale change in those areas and with all those peoples for sure.
Because where the word is spoken, it brings peace. And
Amen.
that is so true. Hey, Pastor, it's been great being with you today on the show. Thank you so much. Give them the website one more time.
You bet. Go to tswrightspeaks.com or godcenteredconcept.com. Either way, hey, you will get connected to all of our stuff.
Thank you so much. We'll be back with the final thought after this. Going to be a great event coming up, U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce, and we'll have Crystal on again, Crystal Parker and the team there. In fact, I'm a part of their President Circle thing, so I will promise you we will have Crystal back on. We had a great time talking. We'll talk about U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce coming up in April. It will be in Orlando. You can't beat that, can you? You got to want to go there. It's going to be a great time. And I know time has gone by so fast today. It is crazy, been crazy busy. Good day. And I love this about discipleship, and it's something that's been on my heart lately. And I appreciate our guests today, and just amazing day, a good day, good things happening. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, listen, remember, great programming tonight on the network. Men Like Us, a show that we produced and debuted a couple months ago now. Going to be on 8 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of great shows tonight. You're going to want to check it out. And man, I just appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, you can always contact us on the app. It's that easy. Just go under contact, and then I think it says connect, and you can connect with me or with several of the other shows on there, so you can do it right there. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Check out the promo code ATV10 when you check out with your coffee. And I drink every day, not just on weekends. So make sure, if you're like me, stock up. Again, it's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. Hey, listen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending some time with us. This has been your morning break. We'll see you again tomorrow.